the hurt ever go away?
I wish I could say yes. But it will get better in time. For you. That I promise.
On November 10th, 2022, after a lengthy battle with intestinal cancer, Kevin Conroy passed away. When I got the news, it's really hard to describe how I felt. Celebrities that I've admired have passed away before, but this was different. This time, it felt like a personal loss. It's the first time that I ever shed tears for someone I didn't know personally. And I think it's because in my entire life, his voice has been with me the longest. At least on an emotional level. You see, I've always liked Batman, but Kevin's Batman was important to me. Only that Batman was special. Only his Batman could convey both sides of the character perfectly. Both as a symbol meant to strike fear into the hearts of criminals, and as the pained and flawed man that lay underneath. While the writing and the animation played a big part in bringing the DCAU Batman to life, without Kevin's voice, he would have never have become such a big part in so many lives. And I think that's because of the kind of person that Kevin was. He was a kind, thoughtful man. And a lot of that came from growing up as a closeted gay man in a deeply religious family. He was used to putting on a mask that he'd hope would allow him to blend into society. And it was all this fear and self-doubt and conflict that he put into his role as Batman. And even as a kid who wasn't aware of any of that, the emotion he brought to the role rang true. His acting oozed charisma when playing Bruce Wayne, and radiated fear when playing the Dark Knight. But no matter who he was at the time, there was a gentleness that no other Batman had ever had, before or after. The way he would talk to the villain, try to understand them, get on their level, only resorting to violence as a last resort, his voice is what made it all the more special in those rare moments when the villain would actually open up to him, and he'd always be there, willing to offer a shoulder to cry on. His Batman proved that the character didn't need to be deathly serious all the time, with Conroy adding so much with his perfect use of Batman's signature dry wit. And on the occasion that Batman would break down, the emotion his voice rang out with was tangible. He transformed Batman from a character into a person, and it affected millions. I've never heard anyone say anything but kind words about him, and in every interview I've ever seen from him, he just seemed like the warmest person you could know. He even spent time after the 9/11 attacks to help serve food to relief workers. And upon learning who he was, he wasted no time displaying his signature voice. He had nothing to gain from that, but it made so many people happy. And it made him so proud that his voice had touched so many. He treated the role of Batman very seriously. It was more than just a role to him. It was a legacy, and it was one that he not only honored, but elevated. There will never be another Batman like him, and there will never be another man like Kevin Conroy.
Am I blue?
Once again, I did not know him personally, but through his work, it feels like I did. And I can't say that about many other actors. So, rest in peace to the one and only Dark Knight. His Batman proved that even with all the gadgets, the vehicles, the training, the most powerful weapon that a hero can possess is kindness for your fellow man.